All right, so let's do that then. Well, I'm going to talk about sales today. But before I go into the topic fully, I want to set up some rules because, I like to work quite flexible. So if you look at this time that we spent together, don't look at this as a presentation or as a lecture. Look at this as a discussion. All right? So what I mean by that is at any point, if you want to learn a little bit more about that topic, you want to ask a question or just say, hey, Simon, give me a different case study. How would you do this? Yeah, just stop me at any time and let's grab a discussion because usually everyone leaves questions in the end, but you don't remember the questions that you had. So just stop me at any time and we can start discussions. Plus, if you want to add something, that's fine. But it has to be connected to the topic, or if you have something funny, like an anecdote or a joke, you can say it, but it has to be good. If it's bad, you have to leave, all right? And if you see me leaving, because the rules apply to me, if I leave, that means you didn't laugh. So keep attention, even if my joke is really, really bad, just try to, pretend you're laughing so I stay here, all right? Cool. Okay, let's wait for the other guys to come in. So let's do this. Who was here from the very morning and is already a little bit tired? A few of you? Okay, let's stand up. Stand up. And let's do this. I really like this exercise. Turn to your left and do a little back massage to your partner. So both hands. Oh, so just find someone. Yeah, no, both hands, but okay, yeah, in the back. Come on, guys, get up and do a back massage to your partner. He's tired, and now turn around and give back the favor. So I only have one hand, sorry. All right. You good? All right. Cool. Thank you. Feeling better now? So everyone should be really focused. Okay, who works over here in the sales department? Is a sales director or a sales manager? Okay, who's a CEO and does sales as well? Okay, who doesn't do sales at all and just is here? Okay, well, thank you. So everyone here will do sales. Either way, right? Maybe your position is not sales director or sales manager, we're going to do sales. Okay, that's good because this is a sales workshop. Well, I actually mentioned this, some new guys came in. What we want to do here is instead of just having a lecture, I said to actually do this as a discussion. So at any point if you have a question, you want to learn more about a topic, just stop me and we can do that. And I'm fine with it. And I'm going to give you different case studies from different markets and different industries, but I've been working in IT for quite so long, so I can show you different perspectives over there. But before I go into the full meat, I want to share with you some statistics, and maybe some of you guys already saw me in Outsource People or maybe some other conferences in Europe. It's okay, like some of the content will be the same because it works, but there's going to be new stuff as well. So don't be discouraged if you see something, or maybe some of the things you already know, because I know your experience, so it's good that you know it. Again, that means it works. But did you know that only 4% of unsatisfied clients report a complaint? So only 4% of all businesses will tell you, hey, I'm stopping our work because I didn't like this. Usually they don't give you anything, or they're gonna lie, right? They say, yeah, sorry, we cannot work with you, we don't have the budget. And you're like, yeah, I know Apple. You're going down on the market, so you're probably really poor, right? So we have this, and even when we're going, let's say, even to the restaurant, right? If we don't like a meal, no one goes to the chef and says, this is the worst fish in my life, I'm never coming back, right? Anyone does it here? No, right? But What are we doing with this information? Are we just hiding this in the pocket and that's it? We're spreading it, right? There's social media. That's why they created it, right? So statistically, an unhappy client will share these feelings with 9 other people. And this is just a study for America, for US. I'm Polish, so I can say that in Poland it's probably going to be 19 or even more because we like to talk negative. But if it's a positive feeling, if I did like your service or product, is it going to be more or less people? Less. Yeah, it's actually 5. Right? So it's crazy. Like, usually we see it this way, right? If it's something that we like, we're like, yeah, it's supposed to be good. So yeah, it's okay. Something needs to be super good so we can promote it. And why do I talk about this? Because a lot of people think that sales is about just signing the contract, getting it done. But in reality, in B2B, there's no space for fast sales without a relation, right? Because cost of getting a new client is 5 to 7 times higher than keeping the existing one. So instead of finding new clients every month, every year, maybe focus on selling right to one client so he comes back. And he gives you more money because he's happy. And when he's happy, he refers you to his friends or to other departments in the same corporation, right? And how do we do that, right? How to do this? Well, the thing is that what we want to do, don't get me wrong, but we cannot sell to people things that they want. Because do clients know what they want, especially in IT? No. So we need to figure out what they need. And that's how we become good salespeople, right? So what we want to do is figure out different tools and strategies, how to find that out as fast as possible, and then close it on that idea. And you'll see that when people are happy with something, they don't care if the button is more red or blue, even if sometimes they're like, yeah, it has to be red. No, if he's happy, he's going to be happy with whatever we give him, right? Especially later. But to the guys that maybe some of the CEOs here, do you ever feel this way that maybe, well, we actually had this conversation here with one friend, maybe you have one big account or 2 big clients and they bring 70–80% of the cash. And it's really cool because you can have 10, 15, 30 developers and it's nice. But when I speak with some of the CEOs, they're like, Simon, I cannot sleep. Because my clients, my 2 big clients are in US, and every time I receive a mail at night, I'm horrified because this could be the mail, it was great working with you, but we have to say bye-bye, right? And now I don't know what to do with my 30, 50, or 100 developers, right? So we don't want that feeling. Or maybe you just feel undervalued. Right? In some of the presentations before, I heard other guys talk about India, right? But sometimes you even have companies here that get more money, and you have to work for, I don't know, 20, 30, maybe sometimes $40 is not enough, right? So you feel like, why do other people get so much cash and I don't, right? Or maybe you're just lost because, again, you don't know when you will have the next client. Sometimes they come, but sometimes they don't, right? And maybe you have this, like sometimes you're like, no, we cannot take this project. And in some times, you would just pay the client to come, right? Because you don't have any work. And in the end, it always hits the team the most because you may have this that if you don't have interesting projects, your team will go to the bigger software house, or they will move to London. Or right now, from Ukraine, they will go to Poland because they can legally just start working there right now, like this, right? So it's a fear. So what I want to do is I want to give you some ideas how to take more control of your sales and not worry about when the next contract will come, just to have a full system that rolls and you just go with it, right? Make sense? Cool, thank you. No, I'm kidding. All right. So what I'll do is I'll actually use a lot of analogies. But for me, I actually a lot of times compare sales to running. Are there any runners here? A few of you? Okay. As you can see, I'm good in theory of running. Like I tried 2 times, but it didn't work that well. But I read a lot of books about it, so I can compare this. But tell me this: is running hard? Is it a hard task? No, anyone can run, right? Like, all I need is 2 legs. That's it. I don't even need sports shoes to run. But if I decide to run, can I just go to a marathon like tomorrow? Probably not, right? I can sign up. Will I finish? Probably not, right? So only few people can be professional, and even less can be champions, right? And it's obvious. But let's look at this from the sales perspective. Is sales hard? Right? Let's say technically, if today we just go on the street and invite 20 people and say, hey, from my software house, this is a list of leads and this is the script you have to say. Call these people, say this. Technically they're selling, right? Are they going to get into good big meetings with nice accounts? Yeah, probably not. Maybe. Maybe they'll get into a meeting by accident. Will they sell and get at least 50,000 euros, 100,000 or 500,000? Really small chance, right? It's just like a chance of me winning the marathon, right? Which, I would, but if there's no one running. So what to do? I don't mean that it's really hard to sell, no one can sell, but we have to approach this in a good way. So let's look at this again from the sports perspective. Let's say right now you hurt my feelings because you were laughing that I'm not a sports guy. So I'm like, okay, I'll practice really hard, and in 3 years I'll be the champion of Europe, in some run. Can I decide that? Of course. But what do I have to do to really be that champion? Train, right? Well, first of all, I need to figure out, okay, what do I want to run? Do I want to do a 100-meter sprint, or do I want to do a marathon, right? Or do I want to do something else? And then once I decide, well, I have to learn the technique, because I can start training, but if I don't know the good technique of starting, or clothing, or basically even eating, probably I'm not going to be the champion. And then I'll start training and practice and optimize. Right? So it's the same with sales. A lot of people are looking at sales as 1-0. I send some emails, I go to meetings, and yeah, we sell or we don't. But imagine this. Let's say tomorrow I take you to a meeting with a B-round startup CEO in New York. Nice company, 50 people, had a lot of funding, they have money, and they need IT. If we talk with the CEO in the morning, and then in the afternoon we have a separate meeting with the CTO of the same company. Are these the same meetings? Totally different, right? We're talking about the same product, the same team, totally different meeting. But then next day we fly to San Francisco or maybe to Oslo, and we talk with similar startup, also with the CEO. So are these CEOs closer than the CTO? Well, actually they are. Because what happens is that this is called the buyer persona. Right? People on the same positions in the company, they have the same goals. So the CTO cares more about the team than the investors. The CEO cares more about the investors sometimes than the team. Right? We have to find that out. But this is something that we have to understand. So this is the distance and the discipline I'm talking about. So sometimes for me, on the general level, it doesn't matter if I actually talk with someone from Norway or US. We actually had this discussion here, but it's just like a cultural sprinkle or cultural filter, right? It's just like sometimes how you ask the question, or do you smile more, or with Scandinavians you don't smile at all because you'll come as a crazy person. So that was funny, by the way. Come on, guys. And do I have to leave? So basically, we want to figure out what are the buyer personas we already have, because you already have experience with some clients, and then try to find similar people because we already understand them. And then what we need to do is learn the technique. So if we are already good with talking with CEOs, let's put that on document. Let's figure out, okay, how do we talk to them? If we have a startup, sometimes it's okay to have a Skype call or go to Starbucks and have a coffee and talk about cats, right? And then sign a contract, and you'll be good with that. But if you're selling fintech, try to approach a CEO and invite him to Starbucks. It's probably not going to work, right? So we need to figure out what's the technique. Like, do we contact them through email, LinkedIn, conference, or something else? And in the end, we have to set up the training and practice. So what I mean by that is we need to have a stats system, analytical system, which we see all the different conversions, and we can optimize this. So we can see what do we do wrong and what to change. Sounds good? Okay, so this is what I want to show you today, how to build this type of system or knowledge. And why am I talking about this? Well, actually, I've been working in sales for almost 15 years. And actually, I've been working with all types of companies, everything from like huge corporations like Deutsche Telekom or Cisco to one-person startups. But actually, the thing that I like to talk the most about is not the big corporations or the work that I've done. It's actually where I learned sales. Anyone heard this story before? No? Okay. Imagine this. Actually, I was working, here on the picture, it's not me, don't worry. It's a good story, positive. This is my partner from our office in Bratislava, Slovakia. We actually met Livia and my other partner, Eric, working in the United States as a door-to-door salesperson, selling educational books. I always laughed that I was a human version of email spam. But to be honest, the company we worked for is really, really professional. It's the oldest direct selling company in the United States. They've been on the market for 170 years, and they're still going. And basically, imagine this. My work was to come to people's houses and sell them these type of books. These were books to prepare kids for college or tests. But the way we sold them was challenging. Imagine this. When I came to US, my work was just to come to someone's house on cold. I didn't call them. I didn't send a postcard. Just came to their door and knocked. And when they opened the door, I had about 20 seconds to build enough trust with my Polish accent and my Polish front end so they can let me inside. So it's a challenge, right? You can see that. And then, once they let me inside, I had about 15 minutes to sell the books. And as you can imagine, the books don't cost $2. This set, only the bottom ones, these kind of encyclopedia, they were $600. And that was in 2006. And the whole thing was $2,000. So it wasn't an easy sale, right? So after 15 minutes, sometimes I sold. And when I did, check this out. I didn't have the books with me because I would break my back. So I had to sign the order, get at least half of the money, and they had to wait up to 3 months to get these books. Right? Talking about trust. And the cherry on the top was that every day I had to do 30 physical presentations. Every day. I was working 13 hours a day. Imagine this. And basically, I did sell. So what happened is actually this company taught me really well all the processes and sales psychology. And what I did, actually after working there for 5 years and having different teams, working with different countries, I was like, maybe I'm ready to go back home. So I did come back. And at that point, my brother, he was actually running a little photo agency. It was him and 4 cameras that he got. And since I was the investor in those cameras as an older brother, I was like, let's do a business out of this. So we started working, but what I did is actually I applied the psychology that I was taught in US to this. And in 2 years, from 2-person company, and of course 4 cameras, we grew into 25-person company, working with the Polish Railway or working with Capgemini, KLM Airlines. And we were working from Krakow, not from Warsaw. So a lot of people were like, what the hell? Who do these guys know? Well, how are they doing this, right? And what we did is basically I was delivering to clients not what they wanted, but what they needed. Right? And just to move it fast forward, actually after 3 years or 4 years of working in that agency, a little, well, like not that little, a company approached us. Maybe you heard about Google. So Google had their acceleration program in Krakow. So the program manager said, hey, we actually have some startups. We want to take them to US, but they don't really know how to sell and how to pitch and how to talk with partners. So I heard you're pretty good at this. Can you help? And we were like, no, we're not really a consulting firm. But yeah, you don't say no to Google. So we did that project, and it was quite good because right after Google, T-Mobile came knocking like, hey, we're opening this accelerator in Krakow, so we heard you were quite good with Google, so maybe we can, work with you. So it was a really nice organic growth, and I already closed the marketing agency 3 years ago. But the cool thing is that I actually have case studies from my work where I used to have, in this marketing agency, I had developers, I had a software house, I was selling marketing, so I can give you different case studies how I got all those clients and how they signed with guys with no experience. Because I didn't have experience in marketing, I don't know if I told you that. I was studying IT and econometrics at Economy University, so I didn't know either IT or econometrics, and my brother was in high school when we opened this company, so there was no plan for success. Okay, but enough about me. So let's talk about main ideas in sales and how to get this better. So first point, get a process. Anyone heard about this before? Sales process. What do I mean by sales process? Oh, you did? Oh, cool. Thank you, Manuel. Well, let's do this. Thinking back to my sports activities. That's my picture from high school. I was Asian, and but looking at this, is motivation enough? Is motivation all I need to get this, to get a six-pack out of this one pack? No, right? It's not that easy. Right? And a lot of people think of this like, hey, yeah, I'll just practice really, really hard and go to the gym every day, and I'm going to be super. Is that a good approach? Not really. And it's kind of the same with sales. A lot of people think, yeah, I'll just, go really hard and, sell and talk with everyone and they will buy. Yeah, but it's the same as with this. You will, basically, sooner or later, just burn out. You'll be like, oh, I'm done. This is crazy. It's like people that have this, they're probably on drugs. Right? So if you do want to have, this type of six-pack, you have to have a goal, you have to have a diet plan, metric system, workout optimization, motivation, and all this needs to be done properly, because if one of the points is just larger, it's probably not going to work, right? So how to figure that out in sales? How do I know if I'm doing good or bad in a certain area, right? Well, this is what I usually promote to start with. First of all, we need to divide our full communication with the client for different stages, because we cannot sell right away. It's not, like selling insurance or selling telco services. When you call someone like, hey, we're building apps, it's only $50,000, would you like one? Oh yeah, just sign up here. What's your credit card number? No, it's not this type of business anymore. So what we want to do is we want to divide the whole process, where we have, for example, the first contact. We never sell on the first contact. I tell people, if you call, email someone, meet someone on a conference, don't sell. Start talking about that. Don't talk about pricing, don't talk about contracts at all, because that's not the time. Just schedule a meeting, and then I'm going to talk about this in a second. Then we have the first meeting. This is the first time we see each other on Skype or on a coffee. That's the time when we talk about goals and what do we want to achieve together. Again, we don't talk about products and pricing. Why? It's not the time, right? Because I can call you. And maybe, for example, here, let's say you're the owner of the hotel, and I can call you, I can say, hey, I have the best vacuum cleaner in the world. It's like awesome. But then I didn't ask do you have carpet or do you have tiles, right? So first I need to figure out what you need so I can sell you something, because, well, guess what? If someone doesn't need this, they're not gonna buy, right? So first I want to figure out if they need it and then start selling. So after that, we have the technical demonstration when someone says, I need app development or I need optimization of my e-commerce. Great, this is how we do that. Do you like how we do that? Great. This is how I can give you an offer with the summary. And then we talk about the price, then we close, sign a contract, and close it all together. And one thing that with a lot of sales coaches, what I kind of disagree, like I don't like to disagree, but I have a different approach because a lot of people talk about sales funnels. Sales funnels are great, and it's a great technique. But when you have a funnel, you're kind of assuming that some of the contacts you need to throw away. For me, I like the sales cycle because I like recycling of contacts. Because if you don't want to buy from me today, it's all right. Because maybe you don't have a need today. But I can always call you back, and today I can automate this. Like I love this situation where right now I actually have a full automated sales system where people just come back to me like, every half a year or a year. And I always have like at least once a quarter, I have a client like, Simon, knock, knock, I'm ready. Here's the money, here's my timeline, let's do this, right? And I don't have to push them into this decision. So what I want to show you is how we can, for example, talk with someone and figure out, okay, I have a need. This person wants to buy, but maybe they don't have the cash today, they don't have a way to buy. So we can automate a way how we can come back to them or maybe help them find a way to monetize that. Okay? And of course, getting referrals, that's also important. So like, well, I'll talk about referrals and that's my last point. So maybe I'll skip that today. Okay, any questions here really fast? Because I'm going to go deeper into some of the points here. No? Pretty clear? All right. So the first, in the first contact, when a lot of people do lead generation, they send emails, they send LinkedIn, or maybe tell me this, who here sends emails to get to meetings? Who uses LinkedIn? Okay, more people. Who uses calls, cold calls? Few of you, okay. Conferences. Who uses everything? Whatever works. All right. Yeah, I actually did this a few times because a lot of people ask me, so do you do cold calls? What channels do you use? I even cold knock. I had this few situations when I couldn't reach a guy, so I just came to his office, just knocked. Since I was doing this for 5 years, it was okay. But how to approach people efficiently, right? Like, what's your conversion on emails? 2%, 5%, okay. So if I give you a tip how to get at least 10% on conversion on emails, would that be cool? Okay, well, I usually do this. I actually use this text in emails, but I will do a call for you. Usually in my processes, for my sales, I actually approach IT companies. I get about 28% conversion, which is pretty nice. Right? And some of my clients get higher, some of them get lower, but this is how we do this. So let's say, what's your name? I'm sorry. Eugene? Okay. Let's say Eugene is a CEO of IT company in Krakow or in Warsaw. Okay? So let's say I'm calling Eugene, but I'll do the same in an email. Calling you. Hi, hello? Hi, is this Eugene? Hi, Eugene. This is Simon from North Star Consulting. Eugene, I'm calling you because I'm responsible for meetings with CEOs of IT companies in Warsaw, explaining a couple ideas behind increasing sales efficiency. And actually, lately I've been meeting with Pavel from U2Y software house and with Łukasz from Nonstop. They're actually building the e-commerce for ING Bank. And basically, I wanted to grab a coffee with you for about 15, 20 minutes. Eugene, I'll be in Warsaw next week. When would be the best day for you to grab a coffee? Is Monday okay or Tuesday would be better? Friday? Friday? Okay, that's good. How was my call? Good one, right? What did I do there? Mm-hmm. Increase sales efficiency, right? So in your mind, did you have like, oh, this is a sales guy, he wants to sell to me? Kind of, but it was positive, right? Why? First of all, I set up a different time and space, right? I told you, hey, I don't want to talk to you now. I know you're probably busy, you don't have time, right? So I gave you just directly all the meat that you need. I told you first, hey, I'm talking with CEOs. I'm responsible for meeting CEOs. So in your head, you're like, oh, so I'm supposed to have a meeting. This is not a random call or not random email. Then I said, well, I'm increasing sales efficiency. This is what we call key selling point. So why didn't I say I'm doing the best sales training? Yeah, it's just like, it's too technical, right? If you call someone or email someone and say, hey, we're doing app development. Exactly, right? And if you pitch someone and say, we do app development, they're like, hey, if I wanted development, I would just go on Google and find a software house, right? So what we need to do is find value that we bring, but for the persona. Because for you as a CEO, it's important to increase sales efficiency. If I was calling the CTO, probably he wouldn't care that much, right? So I need to find a different key selling point. So this is sometimes what I do is I spend a lot of time with companies figuring out what do you really sell, right? So we need to think about that. And then you mentioned it. I actually talked about 2 other CEOs. So I showed my position and I closed it with 2 options, right? Instead of saying, can we meet? I said, when would be the best time? Monday, Tuesday. And you threw in Friday, which is all right. And of course, this is not the only thing. Usually I do 2 emails or 3 emails and a call. And in total, it gives me about 30% conversion. And if I have good names and already rolling in some areas, then I actually just need 2 emails and I don't even call. So for these calls? Yeah. Yeah. Well, right now, I would say probably like a quarter of a second. Why? Because let's say for me, what I did is I did a research on my company, or I built my process that, for example, myself, I work with software companies, either the smaller ones like from 5 to 50, and I have one key selling point for them, and I do a separate campaign for them, or 50 to 500. So when I, for example, right now I fly to Kiev, I have a list already waiting for me, and I know that if my conversion is 28% or 30%, if I want to have 3 meetings, I need to send 10 emails. But they're already ready because I have software to find emails. So I don't really know exactly what you do. I know that you're a CEO of an IT company. And that's what I said. I'm meeting CEOs of IT companies. Exactly. And so what I do right now, like I don't even do calls. Last time I did calls was like a year and a half ago when we were opening the market in Riga. Right now, basically I have a list of CEOs that I want to meet, and every time I go somewhere or I just have free time, I just send bits and pieces of the campaigns, and it's automated. You have HubSpot, you have Salesforce or other software that can send like first email, no one replies, send second, send third, etc. So if you just have good structure and then plan a separate time and space, so instead of saying, hey, we're the best, buy from us, you say, hey, I just wanted to have a coffee or just wanted to have a chat on Skype for 15 minutes to see if it makes sense to do a formal meeting. You will win so many meetings with that. Okay? So that's the first point. But that's a good question. Thank you. Cool. Any other questions? Okay. So Eugene said yes, right? So now we have to go to the meeting itself, right? And if someone says yes to a meeting, is that already a sale? No, right? So it's just the beginning. So right now, it's not getting to the meetings. It's of course important because if you don't get to meetings, you don't have a chance to sell. But even if you're in the meeting, you have to do it properly. So I told you, I'm going to do a 15-minute meeting. Is it possible to sell in 15 minutes? Exactly, depends on what's selling. I think there was a discussion here in the round table, but it was in Russian, so I don't speak Russian, I didn't jump in. But some people were like, yeah, we need half a year to sell. Some people were like, yeah, we need that many days. I need 15 minutes to sell. Selling is not signing a contract. Sometimes people buy, and then they wait half a year to pay and to start a project, but selling is just a mindset. Like, hey, I want to work with you, that's it. Right? Maybe for some of you, I already sold myself, and you're like, huh, I want to work with this Simon guy. I don't know what he does, I don't know how much he charges, but yeah, I'm good, right? Don't tell me. I'm going to ask you in the end. But this is what selling is, right? So how to build a connection. Can I build a connection in less than 2 minutes because the meeting is 15 minutes? I can. How to do it properly, right? So instead of saying, hey, we're on the market for that many years, we do this, first of all, be professional and in the beginning share the agenda of the meeting so people know what's going to be happening. So even if it's 15 minutes, say, well, Eugene, thanks for meeting with me. I appreciate that. Well, like I said, the meeting is going to be 15 minutes. And what I want to do is I want to talk about how we increase sales efficiency, show our products or services. But before I do that, would that be okay if I spend 3-5 minutes talking about your company? Because each company is different. And based on what you tell me, I'm just going to show you the things that matter because we don't have a lot of time. Would that be okay? Okay. And then in the end, if you like the ideas, tell me about it. We're going to set up a separate meeting to go into details with that, okay? But on the other hand, if you don't like it, please tell me no. Because I don't want to waste your time and my time. How do you feel right now? Did I build a connection? Right? So it was an easy way to, we actually call this buying atmosphere, to say, if you like it, tell me this. If you don't like it, please tell me no, because it's direct. Right? So you're actually going to be open in this discussion. And other thing, what I'm going to do here, and I actually already did this in the call, I'm going to use different names of my clients. So there I'm going to say, yeah, and actually, if you like it, great, tell me about it. We're going to do a separate meeting and we can go more into details. And then I can tell you how I work with this company or this company and this company. But if you don't like it, just tell me no. That's it. Make sense? And can you do this in 2 minutes? I actually did it in 36 seconds, right? Or 37. I didn't count that well. All right. And build buying atmosphere, I actually already gave you that. So connection is basically doing good agenda and connecting with names of clients, but not saying, hey, we work for this or this. Just saying, hey, if you like these ideas, I'm going to show you how we work with these guys. Right? And the buying atmosphere is like, hey, just give me yes, or give me a no. I'm fine with both. I want to be transparent. Let's be friends. And this is actually really important because if we're thinking about recycling leads, if you want to come back to someone in half a year, it's good if they give us a no. If they give us a no and we let it go, usually when people tell me, no, Simon, you're a really cool guy and I like your services, but we don't have the money. We need to, we'll just stop it. I'm like, cool, no problem. Like I promised, I'm going to leave you. But let's do this, because many things might change in your company or my company. How about we set up a call 6 months or 10 months from now? Would that be okay? Just like now, or a quick coffee. And see, we'll see if anything changes. If not, it's just going to be a 15-minute coffee. Is that okay, Eugene? Right? No one is going to say no to that. And what happens? You already have a meeting half a year from now. Pretty cool. Right? So then later, you don't have to do lead generation. You already have them set up. Okay, then if you go deeper, let's say we're already starting the discussion. You're talking about your company. What I want to do is find an emotional need. Are there emotions involved in sales? What type of emotions? Trust? Pain? Yeah. Well, why people buy? Maybe you heard about this. People don't buy based on logic. They don't. People buy based on emotions. Right? Let's say if I go to the store and I want to buy a new shirt, Who buys shirts like that? Goes to the store, looks behind the collar, like, size M, 20% polyester, 80% cotton, super logical, I'll take it. No one does it, right? Uh-huh. Okay, so let's do this. Whoever has this where client calls you, even inbound, and says, hello, is this Eugene? Eugene, we really need 5,026 lines of code. Yeah, of course, right? But usually what they say, we need to build an app that will help us gain this market, right? And if you think about the best clients, they tell you, and because we need to do this because our competition already has this, or my investors really push me into this, or I know this is a good way, but my developers won't do this, or maybe I'm just frustrated, frustrated with recruiting because there's no senior developers in this, in iOS in New York, so I cannot do this, right? So this frustration is the driver to start talking to you. And of course, he buys later, he justifies his decision on logic. Because if he thinks, I need someone who's experienced and I want to feel safe in development, he asks you in the meeting, oh, so how do you communicate? Or who did you work for? Or how do you do that? Right? You see this? Yeah, so what we want to do is we want to think about, okay, what drivers are there for our clients? And I'll tell you, well, frustration. A CEO of a startup, can he be frustrated with something? Like lack of developers on the market, right? Can he feel fear? Fear of what? Right? There's many things. Maybe fear of failure, maybe fear of the competition, right? Maybe he feels pressure from the investors. Is that a good driver? Yeah. And of course, we need to find it out smart. So I actually do separate. I think I even had a webinar. Maybe you can even find it online on YouTube. How to ask questions in the meetings. I don't have enough time today, but I actually have like a special funnel from logical to emotional. How to go through the whole thing, just in like 5 to 10 questions. How to get to the emotion. But maybe just to give you a more technical example, what I mean by emotions. Anyone knows this guy? So let's imagine we have a sales meeting with Mario today, right? And we're asking like, hey Mario, how's business? How's life? And like, Simon, I'm going to the stage, killing those turtles and killing those mushrooms. I'm like, wow, it's exciting. Like, yeah. But when I get to the end of the stage, there's this guy that I hate. There's this dragon, and he's 3 times bigger than me, and he has spikes, and he basically spits fire, and every time I want to kill him, I die. I'm like, wow, sucks, right? So if I'm just hearing this as a salesperson, and I have a flower to sell, I'm like, oh, Mario, I have a flower. You eat it, you kill the dragon. Is that cool? Right? And in some way, it might work. But in reality, this is your client telling you, hey, I cannot find developers. I need someone in iOS. And you're like, ooh, we have 16 iOS developers, and actually some of them also know React, and they also do Android, so we can do both. And yeah, we're going to give you a PM for free. Right? Are you going to sell? Probably not. Why? Because if we think about this, why Mario wants to kill the dragon? You remember? Exactly. Oh, you've seen this story, huh? Yeah. So think about this. For Mario, he doesn't care if you have a flower, if you have a banana or a cheeseburger, or if you give him a cheat code, and he doesn't have to deal with the dragon. So for your client, the lack of developers is the dragon. That's logical. But emotionally, he's feeling pressure, or he feels afraid that if he doesn't find them, he's going to fail. So right now, we cannot show him that, hey, we're going to do the app for you because this is logical. We need to prove to him, hey, you're going to feel secure with our development, and this is why. Right? You feel this? And of course, it's not like super easy. It's not like you come to someone like, so tell me your feelings, Eugene. How do you feel, right? But if you want, later I usually give this option to people just to email me or contact me on Skype, and I can give you more info, or I can give you links to webinars that I did. So yeah, think about this. What are my clients' drivers, emotional drivers, or princesses? And you'll see there's a lot. Especially if you look at different content marketing, you'll see the different emotions going in between there. All right, then cover objections in advance. Anyone had objections? Like, this is not the best time, or I don't know if we have the budget, right? Or we were talking, I'm sorry, what was your name? I didn't ask. Tanya? Okay, we were talking with Tanya about objections or problems with the client where he wants to change something, right, in the project, in the middle of the project, right? So it's a really challenging thing when you have this, let's say you start a project and then in the middle the client's like, yeah, this is cool, but yeah, I really wanted it blue. And you're like, oh, you just said red a week ago, right? And of course, this is just a quick example. Or when you're talking with the client for, half a year, and then in the end, when you already have the offer, he's like, yeah, this is cool, but this is not the best time. And you're like, so what is? Right? So how to deal with this? Well, what I usually do is if there's objections that come up quite often, I tell them first. For example, there's an objection that you might get, we don't outsource, right? Pretty tough objection to fight, and to be honest, real bullshit, right? Because, yeah, it's all about just, especially if they say, yeah, we don't outsource, company policy, right? So how do I deal with this? Pretty easy. Before I show them our portfolio or we talk about prices, we talked about the princess. And the guy said, yeah, well, I'm frustrated, there's no developers on the market, blah, blah, blah. And, I feel fear and I'm not gonna do this, etc. So what I do is I ask him, hey, what if I show you something that might help with this? Yeah, cool, okay. I'll show you some of the case studies and how we work. But before I do that, I actually want to share 2 or 3 advantages that our clients really like. First advantage is the communication. Because, we've been working with many corporations. And you probably have this. It's just like when I was talking with Peter from Dell. He was like, Simon, in our company, we have a company policy that we don't outsource, and that's it. And I know it's logical. You may have the same in your company, right? But when we started discussing this with Peter, he was like, yeah, at first it was really good on paper, because we thought that if we have everyone in one room or in one floor, they're going to be better at development. But to be honest, what we found is that because of everyone being in the same room, and with all the people changing, jobs, etc. on the market, a lot of people didn't use the project management tools properly. And because of that, we fell behind on communication. And once we went public, there was so many bugs, and we had to spend 1/3 of more time to fix this, which was challenging. So what I really like about working with you guys is that because I outsourced part of the project to you, and you're away in Europe, you actually force my team to use all the tools, and a lot of times you catch different bugs sooner because you have experience from other projects. And that's why we really like it. So are you going to throw at me, we don't outsource right now? Probably not, if it was bullshit. If it's true, yeah, then we can discuss it, but I know that it's true, and that's a true objection. But what happens is that if I say this, I kind of own this, right? And what I did there, did I say it's my opinion that the no outsourcing is bad? No, I had Peter do it for me. And the cool thing about Peter is that he's not here. So you cannot fight with him, you cannot discuss, and he has the right to his opinion. So usually what we do is when you have testimonials from your clients, and you probably do, like nice letters or maybe something on your website, people don't use this in their sales. So what I usually do is I tell them, give me all the testimonials, or give me all the objections you get, and let's ask your clients why they still work with you because of, even having potentially this objection. And then we put it as a nice story. Make sense? Yeah. So, and it's the same you can do with the client. You can give them a story in the beginning that, you may have a situation where you want to change an idea, but it's just like with this client, I don't want to change because that's more work, and then we're going to lose a lot of things. So if you do it in advance, even later when they do change the idea, they're going to remember this, right? Cool. Later, next thing, don't demonstrate too much. Don't show too much of your case studies, products. They don't really care. Like they sometimes don't even care if it's Ruby or if it's Java or if it's PHP. They just want it to be done, right? So of course, show them different things, but don't spend 3 hours on presenting the history of the company, this, that, dashboards. Just ask them what they want to see. Show them that in 10 minutes. That's it. Closed deal. And ask them, would you want to see something else, or do you see how we work? Because that's what matters, how we work. Make sense? And that's why I'm not going to spend too much time to do that. Then close to get a decision. So closing the deal is not about making people buy, because what we did is we asked the person for their emotions in the very beginning. Remember the first meeting? There we asked about the emotions, but we didn't close there. We asked them, hey, so do you want to go to the next meeting where I show you our portfolio, or I show you some case studies similar to you? If they say yes, that means they're interested in solving the problem. Then the next step, when you showed the solution, you ask them directly, can you see how this case study or this portfolio, can you see how we can fix this problem for you? And if they say yes here, that means they already bought. So closing is actually checking if the value that you bring with your services matches the price. Make sense? So it's not like, please buy, but then we have to ask, okay, so is this something we want to go further with? And if they say no, that's okay, but at least we need to know what's blocking us. So that's actually the next point here. If we do get a no in the close, it doesn't mean they don't want to buy. If they say no, I don't have any emotions, or no, I don't like how you have this case study, that's a no. Then we leave them. If we get a no after the price, that means they need more information about the value. Okay? Because they already said, hey, I have fear that I'm going to do this and I want to see the solution. So they bought in their mind. But if you charge them 150 euros per hour, that's a little bit too much. So you have to then explain them why is it this way. All right? And then the last part is get referrals. You know what's the main reason why people don't give us referrals? They don't trust us? Again? We don't ask, yeah. We don't ask, yeah, exactly. Who asks for referrals? Who asks for contacts to other potential clients? Oh, okay, wow, good group. Who gets referrals? Oh, good group. Okay, so I don't have to teach you this then. Okay, do you want me to show you how to get referrals 70, 80% of the time? Pretty easy. Instead of asking, hey, do you know anyone else who would like to buy my service? That's really direct, right? Sometimes they're like, yeah, I'll think about it and I'll let you know, right? And usually you probably ask only people that bought and are happy, right? Would you want to know how to ask people that said no to your service? I love asking them for referrals. So if I have a meeting, even 15-minute coffee, and they're like, yeah, Simon, this is cool, but it's not for me. I'm like, cool. Thank you then. Like I said in the beginning, if you tell me no, I'll leave you. So can I ask for one for your help, Tanya? Yeah, that's usually what people say. It's natural. Like, yeah, sure, why not? What do you want? Right? So now, instead of asking, do you know someone who would like to buy my services? Because I really need that. We just ask, well, because like I mentioned, I want to meet all the IT companies here in Lviv and actually want people that really are focused on scaling and going international. I know you're connected here. And would you know 2 or 3 companies that would really enjoy seeing my presentation? Right? And I didn't say interested, you did that, right? But what did I do here? I didn't say, hey, buy my product. I said, would you know anyone else who would enjoy seeing my presentation, or who would enjoy a coffee with me just to talk about how we work, right? So this is asking, hey, would you know someone who would like to do a meeting just like you did? And when you told me no, I left you, right? And those people think right away like, yeah, actually I might have someone, because when I have a friend, he didn't tell me how much he wants to spend for sales, but he told me he's frustrated with lack of leads or lack of contracts. Or thinking about IT service, other CEOs have CEO friends who have the same challenges. They cannot find developers. Sometimes they cannot find teams. So they talk about this, and so at least they'll give you the contact to talk to them. Cool, makes sense? All right, any questions here? All right, so a few bonuses for you since you stayed till the very end. I actually have 3 today. Okay, would you like to get more fresh, clean leads? Yeah, even hot leads? Check this out. We actually have free material on domain marketingschool.tech. We recorded a series of training online on how to build content marketing, how to do competition analysis, how to do lead generation, how to send emails. You can go there, you can use this, and you can apply it to your content. Cool? And later I can throw this, or maybe someone from you guys can throw this on the main channel here on this app, so everyone has it. Then, bonus 2, because we're running out of time. Would you like to get more leads and other ways to get them? Okay, check this out. Now, this is the first time I talk about this in public, but for the last year, we've been analyzing the internet and gathering all job offers from all around the world, from different sources. And from that, we've been using different machine learning techniques to throw away all the non-tech related job offers or recruiter job offers because we don't like them. So what we did is right now we have a base of 150,000 job offers just from the last, 10 months, only with companies that want to recruit directly. And what we did is we actually built a dashboard where you just type in Java, Chicago, last 6 months. And then you have a list of everyone who was recruiting or is recruiting for these positions. And of course, I don't want you to, be recruiters. But what this means that if someone for the last 6 months was recruiting for 8 positions, right, in these technologies, means that they have a project in these technologies. Statistically means that probably they didn't find people to do this. So it's a good timing to send a nice email to the CEO like, hey, John, I'm contacting you because I'm responsible for meeting CEOs of these type of companies in Chicago. And I already spoke with this guy or this guy, and I'll be in Chicago next week. When would be the best day to meet with you? Cool? So if you want to be a beta tester and you want to have free access to this before we go public, just go here and leave your email, and probably in a month or month and a half, it depends because developers are still working, we're gonna have a good version, so we can give you access so you can test it, give us feedback, but you'll get leads as well with that. Cool? All right. And now the final question: would you like to know how to close all those leads that you're gonna get? Yeah? Okay, so just to close this up, I've been talking with Rostostav here, and what we decided is that we're going to do a 2-day workshop on whatever I talked about today. So everything from how to send emails, how to do a first meeting, how to ask questions to get the princess, etc., and how to put it in the process in 2 days, and how to start working in the 3rd day. How to start sending emails, how to have meetings right on the 3rd day. So what we're going to do right now, we didn't decide on the date, and we're still discussing the price. But if this is something that is kind of sexy for you, you can go on this link and leave your email. Anyone who leaves their email today is going to get a 30% discount on whatever we decide later. And we may have the same workshops in Kiev and Kharkiv, but for now we're planning the Lviv one. Okay? Cool. And just to close this up, anyone, any general questions? Yeah? Oh, get back here.
What if you are in a meeting with a customer,
Uh-huh.
get to know him better,
Uh-huh.
your questions, and you understand that that's not your type of customer?
I tell him that. Yeah, I just tell him, hey, from my experience, from our talk, I see there's no chemistry. So, you know, if that's okay with you, what I would like to do is just leave this conversation, because I feel that you may not be happy after half a year of cooperation. So, you know, of course, if you really want to, I can still help you, but there may be these and these challenges. But yeah, I think this, you know, this thing is blocking us. And just being honest, I know that it hurts because I'm giving away a lead. But how do you feel if you're a client and I tell you, yeah, you know, I think we cannot really help you 100%? How do you feel? I save your time. And if I ask you, hey, would you know anyone who would like to see my presentation or who would like to have a coffee with me? You'll be really willing to give me hot referrals, right? Because you can see you can trust me. And I was killing myself for a few years before I started doing this, because I was like, I need to get every business that comes. And later I was spending more time with fixing the bugs and problems and fires than I normally would with business. So I started telling no to people, and a lot of times they were like, oh, no, if that's a problem, we'll change it. Oh, if he's a problem, we'll fire him. I'm like, okay, then let's start a new conversation then, right? Or if I just tell him, hey, how about we come back to this conversation half a year from now? Because usually I come to you, right? If it's a client that, you know, comes to us, then we can discuss it more. But if I come to you, I want to be super transparent and let it go. Mm-hmm.
From what I heard here, it's likely that this kind of like process requires a physical attendance, like client's office.
No.
Would it work via emails?
Yes. My process is email, Skype, and maybe meeting. And I have a lot of clients that do that. And I have, for example, a software house, well, here in Ukraine and Poland, what they do is first they start selling and they do the quick meetings, 20, 30-minute meetings on Skype. And if they gather enough full meetings where they negotiate, then they fly, but they have 10 meetings in US, for example, that just for closing, and you know, they come back at least with one contract, which is pretty nice as well. Mm-hmm. Okay, I think we're out of time. Really quick, add me to LinkedIn, because you're gonna have more, well, this is my contact and this is my name. You're gonna have more leads or more connections, but also, if you didn't have a chance to ask a question and you're gonna have questions later, I every time give everyone a chance. If you want, I'll always have 15 minutes, sooner or later. Just send me a LinkedIn message or send me an email, say, hey Simon, I really liked your jokes in the presentation, so can you answer me this question, or can you help me with this and this and this? And we can talk. So yeah, anytime. Sometimes you may have to wait 2-3 weeks. I just have the daughter 3 weeks ago being born, so I'm a new dad. So that's a new project, which is pretty important for me. So, you know, it may take some time for me to reply, but sooner or later I will. Okay? Cool, thank you.